always. Blessings to you. So I have a different setup today, so we'll see how this goes. So are you ready for this week's Muse? I'm going to actually switch it up a little bit, so bear with me as I recalibrate my story and the corridor and whatnot, and wherever you're musing with me today. But my intention is actually to turn this into a daily show where I share insights into the elements. So let's where did I leave off? I don't know. I obviously I have internet issues as per usual. We've got to fix that, right? But again, I just want to share what comes up in my village, or what's alive actually in my village today. So some of you might know, but I sleep outside all as soon as I can under the corridor of the clouds, and I have a wall of trees, nature trees. But this morning it was very active from the squirrels. The falcon actually was next level into a portal that I have in my backyard through a combination of trees and the portal as grapevine. It's a whole situation, but it's very magical. The hummingbirds, finches, the squirrel. I don't know if I mentioned my squirrel, but the falcon. So it was all a whole nother level of awareness there. And I also had an interesting view or a conversation with the trees, just noticing that even through the forest of them, that each of the trees actually stand individually, and yet they're actually connected all at the same time. Then I went into the corridor of the ancestral realm, which brings up bloodlines and blood in and of itself. I even am musing about participating in an ancestral book. So I'm going to kind of see how this all plays out. But today, the element of the day or the energy of the elements, it's the month is Yang Wood Heaven energy and the Wu Horse Day energy. So what does that look like? So here's my little chart. You can see right there. But the day is actually a Yang Water Ren and or Tiger or a Yin energy day. But you can see in the branches the hidden elements that are there. So we have Yang Fire under the day of the tiger, and both yin and yang earth energy, and both the month and the day branch. So we're missing the yang metal. So when we look into the year, we see yin metal jin in the year pillar, and that's the year of 2021. Let's start it in February. So we always have that energy, but I kind of want to focus on the day, but you kind of need to see all of the elements and in the stem, but we also have that metal in the branch. So it's the young metal or mineral that's unrefined. It's still in its organic or original form. And I'm not going to actually muse into the hour because the hour shifts every 2 hours and depending on where you are in the planet. So that's going to be pretty different. So today would be a good day to bring in the minerals of the earth. And ironically, this morning I sprayed on some magnesium oil in an oil form, just sprayed it on my body. And that's really how magical the realm of spirit can be when you just tune in and go with the flow. But the yang metal in relation to the body is our large intestine and the navel. If you happen to see my curious post about oils and the navel for actually healing the body, it was a pretty interesting little muse that I shared there, right? But today, I would say, as you ground into the element of metal or mineral, it's a great day to go inward to find answers, gather community of those answers inside of yourself, your inner world, goals, your emotions, your intuition, and really tune into what that feels like for you. The metals of gold and silver, and to see what comes up for you. I like to just allow my guardian, my gatekeeper, to be my guide as into what I should ground into for the day, and just know that gold transmutes, silver deflects. So just kind of be aware of the element of metal that you bring in. Could also be copper, nickel, etc. So they're really all conductors, kind of a different kind of conductor versus like a root system of trees. They send messages into another form, really, right? So there's all these messages that can be spread from time to time and space to space. Sorry, I just noticed that was over my face. So let me scoot over here a little bit. So the cosmic energy is the season of Cancer. We're in the season of Cancer right now. What we feel, it's the energy of the moon, and how magical. I'm doing this right before the full moon. But, the moon is what I feel, and we all know how I myself live by the moon, the energy of the moon. But Cancer is is ruled by the moon. So the season of Cancer, or if you are a Cancer by nature, the moon switches channels every 2 days, the lunar cycle. Seriously, so I would start journaling how you feel every day. That's the moon, as the moon explores every season that it's in. So feelings are really going to be on the tide or the horizon until we enter the season of Leo, where, it's like adding salt or pepper, because you're shifting channels basically through the seasons. And we all go through this. You can see timelines linear, or you can go through horizontal, or both, and see how they vibrate and frequent. So you kind of know your own frequency. And that brings me to this Sunday, my guest, Gerald Savage. We're going to be talking about sound and healing and vibration and frequency. He has a really unique way of recalibrating your energy system. So thank you about my Brahm here. So I'm super excited to have him on there. But the moon itself today is actually in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is what we believe. This is a very curious day, isn't it? That's the second time my internet has popped me off, and Mercury isn't even retrograde. Now, how hilarious is this? You cannot make this shift up. But back to the moon. So emotions, what we believe, and, feel into those emotions, because we're following the course of the moon. Again, it's the magical day of the moon, or Cancer, in its magical degree. Its master degree is what it's called. So it's what we feel inside of us, in our inner world, our inner corridor. So I would say the imagination is actually in that realm. Like little kids at play without a worry, it's the world of magic, really. And just nurturing yourself as if you were your own mother, nurturing your own inner baby, your inner child. And also, what does that even look like for you? So we're often a product of our parents and our ancestors. That's why the ancestors came in so intuitively for me last night. Coursing down the corridor of the lineage, that's really how I started watching Ertugrul, was I was trying to connect with my ancestral line. And where that all started was actually in the, from far back as I know, is the Byzantine era. That's a whole nother story. But just being a product and acknowledging that we're a product of our parents, so that we can, we're aware of how to nurture ourselves, or sometimes we're unaware depending on how our parents actually nurtured us, our grandparents, etc., etc. So it's a time to nurture our feelings, and more importantly, our soul, our inner garden, just giving time and space to nurture our inner garden, what that even looks like, creating sacred space for the being that's inside of us, or the being that resides within us. So nurturing ourselves first, so you can actually nurture others outside of you. Time and space really is a theme, and time and space is fluid. It doesn't really exist in other dimensions, as far as I can, my conscious collective kind of elaborates to me. Plus, when I had my near-death experience, it didn't feel that way at all. So again, the power of nurturing is actually love. We all know this in our conscious, subconscious self. So doing loving things that are for our highest good and our highest intention inside of us. A lot of it is baby steps. So wherever it is and your venue that you want to shift through space and time, or areas you need to heal within yourself, this would be a great moon to kind of feel into that. Sometimes you really have to leave a village in order to love yourself, and give yourself, a self gift, or whatever that looks like right now, to nurture your inner garden, your inner baby. So when it comes to nurturing, it's being self-compassionate and going along with the needs of that feeling. So, what that looks like is like if you feel hungry, you're literally conscious of a feeling that you need to eat. If you feel tired, just go take a nap, whatever that looks like. So it's like going along with what you feel and getting in the flow of the feeling. You get in the flow and then you nurture your inner emotions, and those emotions literally start to dissipate. So, compassion is about surrendering to the feeling of what you feel. And if you go against the current, then it becomes an issue. So, when you allow your feelings to overcome you and you allow yourself to feel into the narrative, it could be the pain. Right now, I have a pain in my hip, right? So, I need to feel into the pain of what that feels like. Um, golly, I'm hoping you can see me. I'm having issues today already. It's hilarious. But again, don't criticize the pain. Just go along with it and, just go with the flow and see where it goes. And be self compassionate to your inner self and go along with what you feel in the belief, you know. And a lot of people should themselves to death. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. And that really wastes a lot of time where you're arguing with your beliefs. So you just want to let even the argument flow, let it go. So self compassion, being compassionate to the self, is really a thing. You might not belong being in a certain situation, especially situations that aren't nurturing, that you actually don't belong in. And it's just a matter of feeling into the feeling of, do I belong here? Whether it's a career, a relationship, a car, whatever it is. I have to totally, I'm always feeling into the feeling of where I belong. And creating a tribe is really, really, really a thing for me. Belonging is just a different state of awareness for me. So I think that's why it's easy for me to pop out into other dimensions and realms and visitations, whatever that looks like. So when we do this, that's when we start actually nurturing ourselves, because we know when we don't feel like we belong somewhere. It's really, a lot of people tend to try to belong or try to fit in, where it's just easier not to participate in that kind of a story. Same with the experiment that's going on right now. I'm not going to participate in that narrative. It just doesn't feel organic, and it's going to trigger people. The could haves or the should haves or the should not haves. So we really need to nurture our own inner garden in our inner world. And what happens is they're going to interfere with our own inner nurturing, especially our thoughts, where you question yourself and your beliefs. You can have zero negative thoughts, whether it's the past, the future, whatever it is. So if you think about the future, you're actually self medicating out into your future. Thoughts that create a positive in the realm of thoughts, just don't allow any negative thoughts into our self nurturing world. So if you have negative thoughts, you end up resisting our own inner thoughts of self love and what that looks like. It gets blocked to the heart of our inner self garden, in our inner self love. So the inner self, our inner beingness, actually rebels inside of us. So you have to resist the resistance of literally opening up. It's the channel of the juiciness that we actually all have inside of us. Then, if you can connect with your higher self, your spirit, you can connect with the self that is you on the other side. So you really want to be self-nurturing, hold space with your inner spirit, your inner self-nurturing. And spirit is our silent observer. I like to have those spirit to spirit conversations. And the Dagara is called our Sira, what you look like in the higher or the other realms of spirit. So with the moon in Sagittarius, right before this magical full moon, which, by the way, my Musing moon meditation is ready. If you've opted in, or maybe if you haven't, be sure to opt in for that. It's my gift to you. So our feelings in our inner world are rewriting our story, our narrative, not just about today, but out into the future days as well. So when the magic of the moon literally crosses what's called the galactic center, which the galactic center opposes my sun, so I'm always in this weird alignment or disalignment with the galactic center, but that's when our soul story gets updated. And this actually happens every time that the moon crosses the galactic center. And it doesn't really matter what season we're in. Like right now we're in Cancer, it's going to do it again in Leo, etc., etc. But the energy center that's activated today is our solar plexus. So colors to wear would be any shade of yellow, really. And I know I'm in black, but yellow is the sun, right? So any shade of yellow. The seed sound of our solar plexus is Ram. It's the ah, like in father, father, ah. So pay attention to your emotional truths today and also how you respond to those truths. I would say respond with inner love. You can send out that yellow light. Just be organic about it. Even for sure in a dialogue that you have with yourself, the conversation that you have in your inner world, that'd be huge. I like to keep mine on the up and up, the affirmations and whatnot. Some great essential oils, if you're into essential oils to activate your solar plexus, would be frankincense. It increases spiritual awareness. It promotes a positive attitude. Myrrh. Myrrh is also great for spiritual awareness and actually uplifting psychologically. You could use lemon, orange, or any of the citrus oils. It creates clarity of thought. It brings joy, peace, and happiness. Just saying lemon out loud or even an orange, you can kind of, I don't know about you, but I start to salivate just seeing it in my third eye. As an herb for the day, basil. Basil is amazing. It assists us with mental fatigue. And then we have stones like, yellow stones, basically, which the show Yellowstone coming out, Yellowstones, citrine, crystals that actually provide a psychic shield for us will assist in grounding in our everyday world, in our everyday reality, stimulating spiritual awareness, clairvoyance, gut feelings, affirmations today. Affirmations might be something like, I am in my emotional flow. I am feeling my feelings in a magical way. I am having a conversation with my feelings today. So those are just some ideas and insights for today. I promise I'm going to get better at this, better and better, good and gooder. Sorry about all the internet confusion. That was kind of exciting though. But as always, thanks for showing up today. Comment, let me know the flow you're in. Check out the Musing Moon meditation. And as always, I will see you on the other side. InShalla, Ashe. Blessings to you.